Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Lakers floated as landing spot for $40 million center to help Luka Doncic. To grant Luka Doncic wish to play with a lob threat and fix the Los Angeles Lakers' biggest issue might lead them back to the Dallas Mavericks. ESPN's Tim McMahon floated Mavericks center Daniel Gafford as a potential trade target for the Lakers, who are desperately looking for a starting caliber center. Let me throw one at you. This is pure hypothetical, me trying to be GM, figure out things that might make sense, McMahon said on the Hoop Collective podcast last week. The Mavericks quietly sniffed around the value of Daniel Gafford before this deadline. It certainly would make sense for them to do that this summer. The Mavericks will be in a tough spot financially to be able to keep all their centers, Anthony Davis, Gafford and Derek Lively too, according to McMahon. Derek Lively is a year away from getting an extension. Daniel Gafford is entering the final year of his contract. Gafford reasonably and rightly wants to get starting center money, McMahon said. You can't have Anthony Davis, on a max, Lively on a big contract and pay Gafford starting center money. Gafford is due for $14.3 million next season, the final year of his 3-year, $40 million contract. The Lakers, who have surplus of wings, and the Mavericks, who have surplus of centers, make perfect sense as trade partners anew. The Lakers still have the 2031 first-round pick, which the Mavericks left on the table in the Doncic deal and they offered in the rescinded Mark Williams trade, and 5 pick swaps to offer the Mavericks. I could at least put something together that would at least be intriguing for the Mavericks, McMahon continued. Rui Hachimura, all those picks that they've got to give up, a swap or two, I can put something together to make sense to both sides. But after the backlash Mavericks general Nico Harrison received following the Doncic trade, helping the Lakers again would fan the outrage of the still hurting Mavericks fan base. McMahon isn't alone in his thoughts of Gafford should be on top the Lakers trade target list. Bleacher Report's salary cap expert Eric Pincus also suggested the same idea in April. The Mavericks have significant size with Anthony Davis, Derek Lively too, Dwight Powell, P.J. Washington and Gafford, Pincus wrote. They need help at guard since Kyrie Irving is out with a knee injury until at least December or January, optimistically. While the Lakers may not be able to deliver that directly to Dallas, a multi-team deal could be the answer. Gafford is in the last year of his contract and is expected to look elsewhere in free agency given the glut of bigs ahead of him in the Mavericks rotation. His relationship with Doncic is strong, and the Lakers would probably insert Gafford into their starting lineup next season if given the chance. Gafford averaged 11.8 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks in 48 games with Doncic. NBA insider Mark Stein reported earlier this week that the Lakers and the Mavericks are lining up to play a preseason game in Las Vegas in October. It will be just the second meeting between Doncic and Davis, but the third time the two teams are facing off since the most stunning NBA trade in recent memory. It also shows how strong the relationship is between the two franchises. It's not far-fetched to think that the Lakers and the Mavericks go back in the negotiation table as both teams' top decision-makers have a strong relationship. Lakers president Rob Pelinka and Harrison forged their strong bond when the former was the agent of the late Kobe Bryant and the latter served as top executive of sneaker giant Nike. LeBron James suffers first sustained knee injury in 22 years. The Los Angeles Lakers' hopes of a deep postseason run in the 2025 NBA playoffs were curtailed early by a limp first-round loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves in which they never truly threatened. They won the second game of the series, with LeBron James recording 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists, but that was all, crashing out 4-1 in a series in which they only cracked the 100-point margin twice. Any chance of a comeback was curtailed in what turned out to the final game of the series, when Lakers superstar James had a coming together with Timberwolves guard Dante DiVincenzo that saw him lay prone on the floor for a few moments. The injury, later diagnosed as a medial collateral ligament sprain, was later reported to have been one that would have kept him out of the next few weeks of play anyway. Had the Lakers won, then, James' consecutive playoff games played streak would have ended at 292 games. And that level of hardiness is no fluke. Blessed with a combination of size, strength, speed and leap the likes of which has never been seen, LeBron throughout his career has sought to pair these outstanding natural gifts with some artificial maintenance techniques that have long been documented. Although he himself is reticent to confirm or deny it, James reportedly spends up to $1 million annually on his body, using modern technologies such as cryotherapy and hyperbaric oxygen chambers to stay in peak condition and prolong his career as much as possible. Given that he is still playing to a very high level now past his 40th birthday, and has shattered untold numbers of longevity records on his way to being the leading scorer of all time, it has been a very sound investment. In those 22 years, James has played 1,854 games across both the regular and postseasons, surpassing even the long-standing previous high of 1,797 set by the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In those 22 years, he has been involved of tens of thousands of possessions, sprints, jumps, pivots, twists, practices and hard fouls, playing to the highest possible level a sport whose reliance on athleticism and changes of direction are taxing on the lower body. And yet somehow, until this series, LeBron maintains that he has never before had a knee injury. Following the Lakers' elimination, at the 11.40 mark of an appearance on the podcast that LeBron hosts alongside former two-time NBA MVP Steve Nash, Mind the Game, he disclosed how the injury to his knee ligament was a first for him. Danjel Gafford is a trade target for the Lakers. Rob Pelinka wants a center. In the aftermath of an underwhelming playoff run, the Los Angeles Lakers are determined to improve by any means necessary. According to ESPN's Tim McMahon, one trade target this summer is Mavericks big man Danjel Gafford, who is entering the final year of his contract. The Mavericks quietly sniffed around about the value of Danjel Gafford before this last deadline, and it would make sense for them to do that again this summer, said McMahon on the Hoop Collective. Derek Lively is a year away from getting an extension. Danjel Gafford is entering the final year of his contract. Gafford is reasonably going to want to get paid starting center money, and you can't have AD on a max, Lively on a big contract, and play Gafford starting center money. Luka's obviously got chemistry with Gafford, but I don't know if Nico wants to have another chit-chat with Rob Pelinka so soon. I can put something together that would be intriguing for the Mavericks, Rui and the pick they have to give up, and a swap or two. The Luka Doncic trade gave the Lakers a leader for the next 10-plus years, and now they can dedicate their efforts to building a proper team around him. The cost for Doncic was not cheap, however, and the Lakers lost most of their frontcourt depth just to pull it off. Without Anthony Davis as the defensive anchor, the Lakers were left without a starting-caliber big man, and they felt it throughout the entire season. With Jackson Hayes given the starting center role, he initially thrived next to Luka and LeBron, but his effectiveness tapered off down the stretch, and the team had to adjust on the fly. During the playoffs, Hayes was unplayable for the Lakers, and by the end of the series, he was almost out of J.J. Redick's rotation entirely. Without the proper size and strength to challenge Minnesota under the rim, the Lakers lost in the first round and barely put up a fight in 5 games. Going into the 2025 offseason, the main priority for the Lakers is filling out the rotation with the proper size and skill at power forward and center. With enough depth at those positions, everything becomes easier for the Lakers, and they'll have much better odds trying to challenge the NBA's elite frontcourts. With another 2 years and $28 million on his contract, Gafford's fate is in the hands of the Mavericks, but might Nico Harrison consider more negotiations with Rob Pelinka? By giving up Rui Hachimura or a guy like Dalton Knecht, the Lakers could build a lucrative trade offer and acquire a starting center without giving up one of their main core players. As an added bonus, Gafford already has experience playing with Danjel, and their chemistry from the Mavericks would almost certainly carry over to Los Angeles. Overall, it's an ideal scenario for the Lakers that would solve one of their biggest areas of need right now. In 36 games last season, he averaged 8.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.4 assists on 70.2% shooting. The question is, would the Mavericks consider dealing with the Lakers soon after the Luka trade? If so, it could be the move that puts the Lakers over the top and finally helps them realize their ambitions as championship contenders in the West. And you, fan? What do you think about Danjel Gafford's situation? Write to us in the comments.